So welcome back to how to create an e-commerce website. Remember, this is a 6-part episode, so if you're in this, you've probably missed one. The last one we did, we were looking at branding, and that's in terms of how do you create your new website. You need to look at getting your font style, your color. Where do you get your inspiration as well? We looked at that. We also looked at choosing your domain name, making sure it's not too long, it's not too short, it makes sense. But if you're at this stage, you might have missed that one, so I'll put a link in the video so you could get that one. But in this video, let's look at what we're going to be looking at, because this is part 2 of how to create your e-commerce website. Registering your domain name. We're going to choose your hosting as well. We're also going to look at installing WordPress, which is what we're going to be using. We're going to choose your theme, our page builder. We're going to install CartFlows as well as WooCommerce. So click that like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell. So when we post new videos, you will get notified. So let's jump into the video. So we need to choose a domain name. Now, most hosting websites provide free domain names. However, I'm going to do something slightly different. When I registered my first website, I just went ahead and selected a domain name with the company, only to realize by the following year, the prices was way higher. So what I've come to realize, it might make more sense to register with a domain registrar that the prices are competitive. One of those domain registers is Namecheap. Let's take a look at Namecheap. So if you go to namecheap.com, you'd recognize that the first thing you will see is, hey, get up to 96% off today. And that's not strange. So with Namecheap, you're going to spend somewhere around $7 to $8 for your domain. That is quite a bit of a savings. A lot of other websites, those prices could be $15, $16 per year. It adds up over time. So if you come to Namecheap, we're going to look for the domain name we're going to use. I'm looking for a domain name to deal with fashion, so I'm going to type in fashiondealstt.com and see if that's available. All right, so we could see it's available. I'm using Fashion Deals with a Z. I purchased this domain already, so I'm just using this as an example. I purchased it with an S, which I'm going to use to create this website. But I'm just repeating it so you would see what you need to do as you're going through the process. Select Add to Cart. We don't need to add any of these at this point because our hosting website should have free SSL. So let's just choose Checkout. Now here's another advantage of using Namecheap. Notice this comes with Who is God, which is really your domain name protection. This could cost you another 15 to 17 US elsewhere. And it's coming free with Namecheap. You're going to get it for 1 year and it will auto renew at no additional cost. So let's just choose Confirm Order. If this is the first time purchasing a domain, you could create an account, enter your username and details, or you could log in if you have an existing account. So it's that easy to purchase your new domain. So once we've purchased the domain name, we could log into our account, but the next step is choosing a web host. I'm going to go through with you 4 recommended web hosts. There's a lot of options for your web hosts. Many of them have their own advantages, disadvantages. What I've found is that all 4 of these, I've had a good experience with them. I've had good reviews. Some may change over time, so I'd recommend that you still do your own research, but I'm going to go through my 4 recommendations. The first one is SiteGround. So SiteGround provide web hosting, which is shared web hosting. You could also get managed web hosting. They also have some specialized features for WooCommerce and cloud hosting. But if you're now starting out, you could start with just shared web hosting. Click on Get Started below Web Hosting. So here we have the 3 packages that they offer. The starter plan for $6.99. This is an entry price. Its regular price is $14.99. So take note of that because after the first year, it will renew at that monthly price. So choose the plan here that makes sense for you. If it's just your first website, you may want to start with your starter. The second options I want to share with you is DreamHost. DreamHost as well provide shared hosting. They have dedicated hosting as well. So you could come to hosting and choose shared hosting. Scroll down on the page. They break it down into monthly, 1 year, or 3 year. You could start with a shared starter. You could choose the shared unlimited. Select the one that suits you and sign up. The third option is 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗃. 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗃 offers 3 packages. You could either get a web hosting package, a reseller hosting, or a VPS hosting. But in our case, we just want to get a shared hosting package. You could select the first one, choose buy now. However, we are looking at web hosting. So choose compare plans to see the different shared web hosting plans that 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗃 provides. And here we see they're broken down into 4 different plans, starting with the starter cloud, going all the way up to the business cloud plan. One of the things I like with 𝗪𝗲𝗄𝗃 is the free light speed feature that they provide. It really provides you to get a much faster performance on your website. You could install a caching plugin to really take advantage of this. And this is coming at no additional cost for you. A lot of the more performance-driven web hosts utilize the same feature, but they charge you much more for it. All right, so you could select the plan that suits you and then decide if you want to do it for 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years. But obviously, the more years you choose, the bigger the discount that you will get. Really, if you could afford it, I would go for the 3 year and take advantage of the discount. The last option I would recommend is Bluehost. I've been using Bluehost for a few years now. It's really worked for me, especially if you're starting out. I find the interface is very easy to use. You're able to one click and get most things installed. And if you need some assistance, I find their support really works for me. So they have 4 plans starting with the basic at $395. Again, this is the discounted price. And they go up to the Pro plan for $1395. All of these have unlimited website. The first plan is just for 1 website. So select the plan. I'm just going to choose the basic plan. Since we would have already registered our name on Namecheap, we will use a domain you own. Click in the box and we will enter the domain name just like I did here and click next. All right, enter your information, come down, and here's where we will decide, do we want to register our domain for 1 year or 12 months, 24 months, or 36 months. Depending on what you can afford, select the period that works for you. Again, if you can afford it, I would go for the 3 years and take advantage of the discount. It already comes with free SSL, which is excellent since you don't need to go and purchase an SSL. And since we're creating a WooCommerce website for e-commerce, it's very important to have your SSL certificate installed. Some of these extra features we really don't need. I think you can uncheck these because we will be able to use other features to get many of these services here. Come down, enter your credit card information and choose submit. Once you have completed the process, I will meet you in your logged in account so we could go through some additional settings. Okay, just before we assign our domain name, there's one thing we need to do, which is point our domain name from Namecheap to our hosting company, whichever is going to be. In our case, it is Bluehost. So we need to find out what is the DNS name for Bluehost. You may be able to go and check for it, but an easy way is let's go and just Google it. So if we say Bluehost, so if we type in Bluehost DNS servers and press enter, here we have the 2 names. So what we need to do now is go and log in to our Namecheap account. So if we come and log into our account, I've already logged in, so I'm just going to go to my dashboard. And I'm going to go to domain list, look for the domain name, and come over to the right, you will see manage. All right, look for where it says name servers. If you come across to the right, you will see a little drop down arrow, click on it, and you will see custom DNS. So here's where we need to put those 2 name servers. So if you go back to where we saw the domain names for Bluehost, you'll see it says ns1.bluehost.com, and we will select the first one. Let's enter it. And then the second one. and enter. So there's a little tick to save. We'll just click save. So now we could go and assign our domain name to our Bluehost account. Alright, once you've logged into Bluehost, we just need to verify that our domain name is assigned. You could do so by going to domains. Now, as I said, I had assigned this domain before, but I unassigned it so that you could see where you could go to assign the domain. So if it's not listed here, let's look at assigning the domain. You would click on assign domain, or it just says assign. In your case, if it hasn't been done before, you will need to choose use a domain that is not already associated with your account, and you would enter the domain here. So you would have chosen the name of the domain. So you would type it, come down. You could either unassign a domain, park a domain. So that's in the event that you just want to secure it, but you're not going to use it, or we're going to use it as an add-on. Since we want to create a website from this domain, we're going to choose add-on domain. It will ask if you want to use an existing directory or create a new directory. I would recommend you create a new directory, but as I said, I've added this domain before and just removed it for this demonstration. So I'm going to choose use an existing directory, since I'm going to choose this fashion deals TT folder that was already created, and I'm going to choose assign this domain. Alright, so I see here it has been successfully assigned. Now it's time for us to create our website. We'll now go to My Sites. Then we'll come over to the right and choose Create Site. You could either use the Bluehost Builder, or we're going to use WordPress. We're going to use WordPress since we're going to choose our own page builder when we log into WordPress. So let's choose Use WordPress. Let's enter the name of your website. In this case, I'm going to call my website Fashion Deals. And I'll choose next. We need to choose our domain, so click the drop down arrow and look for the name of your domain. In this case, I'm going to be choosing fashiondealstt.com. I'm going to uncheck these recommended plugins since we're going to install the ones we need, and choose next. Okay, so take note of your username and password that is provided. Document it so that you could use it to log in the future. Or you can then go back, but in our case, we're going to log into WordPress. So we're now logged into our dashboard. So let's just do some quick cleaning up. We could dismiss these notifications, and we could collapse these display just to clean up our dashboard. We can go and delete the things that we don't need. So if we go into post, and we can trash this post. We can go to pages. We could delete these pages. Let's move it to the trash. And let's just check the plugins. And we could deactivate Jetpack since we're not going to be using it for this website. We can select these and we can delete them. Let's choose OK. We'll update the Bluehost plugin. This just helps us to connect with our Bluehost backend. We could always remove it if we don't want to, but for now I'll just leave it. And let's see where we are so far. So we've registered our domain, we've also registered our hosting, and we have installed WordPress. We now need to go and install our theme and our page builder. So the first thing we're going to do is install the theme we're going to be using for this website. We're going to go to Appearance and choose Themes. Let's choose Upload. We could either type it or we could just go to Popular. And the theme we're going to be installing is one of the most popular themes. We're going to be installing the Astra theme. Let's choose Install and Activate. So we see a notification here asking us if we would like to install the starter templates. Let's just go ahead and do that one time because we're going to be using it. So let's choose Get Started. Excellent. Now let's go and install our page builder. We're going to go to Plugins and we're going to go to Add New. And let's come to Search Plugins and we're going to look for Elementor. We'll see Elementor has over 5 million downloads. So let's choose Install Now and Activate. Now what we want to do from here is install the template we're going to use to make this easier for us. And Elementor as well as Astra comes with several templates, but we're going to be using the Astra templates. So if we go back to appearance, you'll see it says, come down in the menu, you'll see it says starter templates. And it asks us what page builder we're going to be using, and we're going to be using the Elementor page builder, so we could choose it. So we'll see Astra comes with a lot of starter templates that gets us going right off the bat. So those with the agency tag is for Astra Pro or the agency bundle. But we are going to be using a free template. Let's click the drop down arrow by all, and we can choose eCommerce. And we could see a preview of all the different e-commerce templates we could choose from. And as we scroll down, we see a variety of different templates that is already well laid out that we can simply select. We're going to choose this one here. And you'll notice we could install one page at a time, or we could install the entire website. So we're going to choose import complete site. So here we could delete previously imported site if we had done one before. So since this is our first site, we'll leave that unchecked. Notice it has this option to install required plugins. We've installed some of those plugins already, such as Elementor, but this is going to go ahead and install the WooCommerce plugin. It's also going to install WP Forms Lite, WooCommerce Cart Abandonment Recovery, and the Elementor header and footer blocks. Let's choose import. So this is finished. We could close this for now. And there's going to be one last plugin we're going to install just before we get to customizing our e-commerce website. Let's go back to plugins and we'll choose add new. And let's look for CartFlows. Let's click install now and activate. Let's take a view of our website just before we get to customizing the website. So here we are. We already have a well laid out website. We just need to customize it now to make it our own, add our own products, our own photos, design, and color. So there you go. We already got it set up. We've installed all the plugins we need to use to get started. So when we come back again, we're going to look at customizing our website. Let's take a look at what we're going to be doing in our next video. We're going to look at customizing WooCommerce. We're going to customize our theme. We're also going to look at editing the storefront to make it look our own, and customizing CartFlows. If this video was useful to you, please click the like button, subscribe, and choose the notification bell so when we post new videos, you will get notified. See you in the next video.